Go ahead, Daryl.
Thanks, Camille. Good afternoon, everyone. We want to get started on our, we're going to walk through some of the functional aspects. The main thing that we want to look at in this webinar is the integration between your Oracle EBS transactional tables or system and OBIA, particularly financial analytics. As we look at this slide, EBS Financial Process. EBS is a robust, complex transaction processing application that it touches every part of an organization. Oracle Business Intelligence Applications and Financial Analytics is a tool. Basically allows the finance organization to look at a deeper, more analytical view of the business process. Kind of looking down, on this first slide. Financial analytics is a key to all financial measures given at a given point in time. We look down at some examples: cash flow, capital adequacy, inventory levels such as FIFO, LIFO, inventory measurement, general ledger aggregations, human capital and salary analysis, product revenue and pricing analysis, margin analysis, and profitability analysis, as well as others. As we move to our next slide, really what I want to look at here is the financial process. The financial process is the main theme of what brings us all together. It's moving your enterprise front office into the back office, your customer facing into your back office financial reporting. As you record your sales with your customers, customer facing, through OBIA and financial analytics, you're basically able to measure things such as sales mix, discounts, rebates by region, sales revenue that impacts product categories, pricing, sales channel, and customer segment. As you move to project analysis and those that are in the industry of pharmaceuticals, construction, or any project-based industries, you can analyze your project with project duration, cost allocation, project performance, project expense allocation, and geo-balancing. And this pushes to the back office for all project accounting. Human resource analysis, which is basically your human resource capital, management analysis, workforce expenses, salary, benefit, tax, impacts of the organization. This can be done in the back office by analyzing all your salary expense, bonus expense throughout the various entities in your organization. Procurement, the analysis of all your expenses, vendor management, product delivery, visibility across all supply chain. That back ends into your supply chain analytics. This next slide kind of analyzes the business cycle. So we look across the enterprise, the business cycle across an enterprise can be siloed, from suppliers to operations to sales to finance. On the supplier, vendors drill into orders, shipment, invoice, and payment. Operations, assets, materials, asset conversion, and logistics. From our customer facing come orders, shipments, invoices, and payments. And of course, the main premise of this is finance, recording, verification, analysis, and reporting. The foundation of all of that is revenue, profitability, cash flow, and other key measures that allow us to measure our business. In this next slide, I'm going to take a deeper insight into the business process. OBIA financial analytics can be segmented into a number of analytical measures: financial analytics, supply chain, procure-to-pay analytics, human capital analytics, order management analytics, and accounts receivable analytics. Kind of looking back at financials, it allows you to analyze intercompany financial data by department, product, employee, reporting entity, identify your most and least profitable customers, products, and sales channels, analyze receivable collection efforts, identify pre-close adjustments prior to closing out the period. Supply analytics, supply chain allows you to increase visibility into your direct and indirect spend, visibility into supply and demand for raw materials. Again, as I mentioned earlier, human capital analysis, salary planning, resource allocation, period-to-period run rate, FTE, and salary expense. Order management analytics, reduce the order to fulfillment process cycle time, identify top customers, high risk and slow pay customers, and lastly, accounts receivable analytics, analyze account aging collection efforts, as well as analyze aged accounts by invoice and by customer. You know, our last slide here in this segment will be kind of cross-paralleling EBS modules against OBIA Financial Analytics pre-built dashboards and analysis. You know, looking across from General Ledger, you know, OBIA Financial Analytics will allow dashboards, graphics, pre-close forms, accounting trends, period-to-period comparisons, including drill back to General Ledger and sub-ledger accounting. You know, if you go down and taking examples, if you want to look at, and you know, I want to stop to say, you know, this financial analytics is pulling directly from the tables in these modules, like Oracle Payables. And this doesn't matter whether you use iPayables, iReceivables, it's all going to give you the same result. We can analyze detailed payment, aging, invoice, detailed drill down, past due accounts. Project accounting will drill directly into your project accounting module, giving you product cost analysis, expense run rate by project number. You know, and then the last example on this one is Oracle Fixed Assets. You know, allows you to analyze capital expense depreciation dashboards and matrix by asset account category and across location. The example I give here is financial analytics integration with the order management module. If we look at this slide from the bottom, these are the various EBS modules that feed into order management. You know, you have your warehouse management, sales contract, iStore, credit management, GL, receivables, inventory cost, and trade management. Within the order management module, the various subcomponents of invoicing, track and deliver, pick, pack, and ship, credit management, pricing margin, and scheduling. And at the top, this is your OBIA Financial Analytics sitting on top that allows you to do order cycle dashboards, fulfillment order reporting, as well as trending graphics. And now I'm going to turn this webinar over to Dinesh, who's going to talk to you more about the technical aspects of OBIA and financial analytics.
Thanks, Daryl. Let's talk about a need for business intelligence in any organization. In today's world of global business, any business will need a powerful BI solution that provides timely insight and allows to do proactive actions for business growth. Let's talk about some numbers. It's been proven that average time of any financial analyst is spent more on collecting, validating data and administrating the entire process rather than providing value-added analysis that helps to improve business process. You can clearly see the results, how implementation of BI solution increased time to analyze the data instead of clerical work. Let's have a look on the characteristic of any ideal BI solution for any business. BI solution must provide a single source of truth across the organization. A single version of information must be shared across the organization. It must provide full range of BI capabilities like ad hoc reporting, canned reporting, dashboards, office integration, mobile integration, etc. It must be highly scalable and easy to upgrade. It should be easy to maintain and the total cost of ownership must be low. Let's have a look on BI solution provided by Oracle. Oracle BI applications. Oracle BI applications is a suite of pre-built business intelligence that deliver role-based intelligence. Oracle BI applications support pre-built aggregation and analysis of information from a variety of transactional applications, including Oracle EBS, Oracle Siebel, PeopleSoft, JD Edwards, as well as non-Oracle applications. Oracle BI applications are built on Oracle BI Foundation Suite that is a comprehensive BI and analytic platform. Oracle BI application extracts data from your source system using Oracle Data Integrator, that's ODI, transform that data with the pre-built mappings and loads into the Oracle Business Analytic Warehouse. This information is used to populate the analysis that deliver role-based intelligence that your company can use to make decisions to improve your organization's bottom line, competitive performance, and business insight. Let's have a look on what Oracle BI application has to offer us. So it provides a pre-built data warehouse schema that with associated extract, transform, and load metadata and data movement infrastructure to support aggregation and transformation for the analysis of data from transaction sources. A pre-built Oracle BI applications metadata repository to support analysis of the data in the Oracle BI Analytics warehouse, a suite of metrics pertaining to how organizations measure performance that your company can select from and apply to your particular line of business. Also, it provides application and industry-specific role-based analytics and dashboards that are organized to maximize the both industry and domain knowledge, as well as leveraging and understanding of the Oracle Business Analytics Warehouse and its underlying source transactional schemas for historical analysis. Let's quickly have a look on the architecture of BI application. The bottom layer shows all the data sources supported by Oracle BI apps, which includes Oracle and non-Oracle products. The common enterprise information model, which is really powerful layer that can combine your data from different systems and project them on a single analysis. The next layer I would like to talk about is the application tier, which provides the access to your BI and EPM specific needs of any business. And the last but not the least, the client layer, which provides you available BI capabilities for your end users like Microsoft integration, scorecards, reporting, publishing, ad hoc analysis, etc. Moving forward, okay, in this discussion, we are going to limit our focus on ERP financial analytics. Let's have a quickly look on ETL out of the box for BI applications. The diagram on the left illustrates the ETL architecture of BI applications. OBIA comes with very powerful ETL tool, that's extract, transform, load, which is Oracle Data Integrator, that leverages its unique architecture of ELT instead of traditional ETL architecture and delivers efficient data load mechanism. It also removes a need of a middle tier server for transformation activities and leverages powerful RDBMS target system. Functional setup manager, functional configuration in OBIA is performed in a task-based guided format using Oracle BI applications, configuration manager, and functional setup manager. For each offering to be deployed, FSM provides a list of tasks that must be performed. It makes it easier to follow up all the required tasks in order to implement any analytics. Let's take an example. Let's say I want to enable my financial analytics and load data into only account receivable. Functional configuration manager will allow to select particular business area and fact tables that automatically list down other dependent objects. Those need to be configured and loaded for ETL process. So data administrator exactly knows what are the steps need to be performed. ETL process converts this source data into star schema and dashboard will allow visual investigation on top of this. Let's also talk about the security of OBI applications. Any BI implementation project faces many challenges to implement BI security that is tightly coupled with your source system. OBIA out of the box provides plugins into your crucial source security configurations so that you can fetch them into BI applications. It focuses on three different aspects. Object level security, which controls the visibility to business logic objects based on a user's role. You can set up object level security for metadata repository objects such as business models and the subject areas. Second is data level security, which controls the visibility of data based on the user's association to data in the transaction system. And the user level security refers to the authentication and confirmation of the identity of a user based on the credentials provided. Oracle BI applications are offered into two main business areas: enterprise resource planning, that's ERP, and customer relationship management, CRM. So in this discussion, we are going to limit our focus to financial analytics with Oracle as a source system. Daryl is about to give a live demo of financial analytics. Over to Daryl.
I think we lost your screen. If you want to check that, please.
Let me make sure. What is going on? It's froze.
Internet. Internet is on, right?
Yeah. No, it's freezing.
Why are
Yeah.
you connected with D-Link? Why are you connected with D-Link?
Yeah, both are same. But this screen option is
No, because you're not disconnected from the internet. That's why.
no. Let's see if internet is there. Should I try the third one? Just
Yeah. Yeah.
but
This will come up.
audio.
Yeah.
Okay, we got it back. Thank you.
Sorry about, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to, as Janesh says, we're going to focus on finance. But as an example, if you look at the presentation layer and you go down your options of dashboards, it runs anywhere from human resources, manufacturing analysis, data management, as well as other kind of industry specializations, including public sector. The first one we're going to look at today is general ledger. On our overview page of general ledger, we look across, and this presentation layer is really going to be looked at by your CFO, your controller, your vice president of FP&A. Going across from left to right, you can see, gives you a cash flow summary. Your operating cycle, which is basically your inventory turnover. Your current ratio, which really is your working capital summary. Scrolling down, we get an expense trend. Expense by category. This is a breakdown, basically, of your expenses. This is a graphical. As you use along your measure bar, you can look at your various quarters to see how expense changes over a period of time. You can also create a pivot table that really shows you the breakdown of those expenses. Off to the far right, we're looking at the top 10 cost centers by expenses, in your organization. So again, this is an executive level. We're going to move now to our balance sheet. Basically, this is a quick snapshot by monthly and quarterly balance sheet summary by organization, different categories. Cash flow is an important aspect. So, again, you can see your, basic increase and decrease in cash use, sources and uses of funds, including your equity. You move across the tab, if you want to look at budget versus actual, it gives you a snapshot of that. This is a graphical nature of budget versus actual. And again, you can look at it in a pivot table on a comparison. Moving across to your right, we can look at our top 10 cost centers by expense variance. Scrolling down left to right, again, budget versus actual, total operating expenses, and then we get an expense trend analysis here in our last dashboard. Another important measure, I'm moving to liquidity. Here we can see a graphical analysis of our liquidity at an organizational level. We're looking at short-term liquidity, cash, daily cash in hand, capital expenditure coverage, as well as our cash run rate. You know, if for those who want to create, you know, EBS is at times a powerful system but very clumsy. You're able to, through the financial analytics module, create a flash balance, trial balance, you know, where you can analyze before close. Okay, next we're going to look at is what I consider probably the meat and potatoes. I went to the wrong tab. This basically is your profitability analysis across the organization, and this is maybe a personal thing, but I think this is probably the most important module you can look at. You know, here we look at the overview. You know, we look at basically a matrix benchmark of all your key measures to profitability. You know, this is benchmarked against certain hurdle rates, both our current ratio, working capital, you know, and working capital percentage of sales. You know, as you can see, we're benchmarked, we're flagged. Our green is saying we're well over our hurdle rate. Red is we're not meeting that benchmark, and yellow is saying, you know, we have a warning. You know, maybe those are key areas we want to look at. You know, to the far right, we look at our P&L, profitability by quarter. Again, we're going to look down at product gross margin and a customer gross margin. You know, stopping a little bit. So this is our customer gross margin. So, you know, you can also look at customer categories. So this is our commercial segment. We can also, if you're in construction, you can look at your construction segment. So you can go segment by segment on customer profitability. The next tab we're going to look at is basically our summary of our P&L. You know, quick view, snapshot of our P&L, both on a quarter year-to-date basis and on a quarterly basis. Next tab we're looking at, and I like this, I personally like this, and this is our margin analysis. So we look at our margin analysis moving from left to right. You know, this is our profitability returns trend graphical view. But as before, you know, if you want to look at, you know, the pivot table, you can see your key ratios: return on assets, return on equity, and return on common equity. Moving across to the right, this is our key cost ratio trends. You know, sales and marketing expenses as a percentage of revenue, other operating costs as a percentage of revenue, as well as our cost of goods sold and R&D expenses. And moving down again, we're looking at ratio comparison between total assets, return on assets, and earnings before income taxes. And lastly, on this last graph, we're looking at return on equity drivers. You know, total. This would be your total return on equity, shareholder value analysis. On the next tab, we're looking at revenue, and what we're looking at here is total gross revenue. Total gross revenue, and we can see our trending graph here. And then we have a revenue performance by product category. And you know, just for example, this is a large electronics manufacturer. But you know, this is basically by product category. So we can see, you know, by quarter what our revenue trend and percentage are by a product. Moving down, we're looking at, again, the top 10 products by revenue category, both on a pivot table and a graphical display. Off to the right, we look at our top 10 customers by revenue. So we can see our winners and we can see our losers by revenue, gross revenue, and again, a pivot table. So, you know, you look at this and you say, this is interesting. Let me take a deeper dive, because let me see what's driving our products. You know, what products do I need to maybe take off the shelf, improve on, and get a better spread? So here we're looking at by product category, kind of profitability. You can go across. You see revenue amount, percentage of total, product gross profit, margin, and then operating profit percentage. And moving down, we look at our product profitability statement. You know, and this is for a particular product, this plasma monitor. But, you know, we want to look at we can look at profitability by any one of our leading products and see what the key drivers underneath this are as far as in a percentage. Across to the right, we look at our top 10 revenue contributing products with margins. And this is a benchmark kind of analysis, kind of a toll gate. The green indicator showing, we're all above our hurdle rate as far as product operating margin, but it also, where it would appear you'd be under would be a red light and a warning on the yellow. Moving down, this is direct versus allocated expenses against those products, graphical and a pivot table. And as it winners, there's always losers. This is our top 10 lowest margin products. So we look at those. So we take a deeper dive to find out what's really driving those. So these are all our products. So we say, okay, we have winners and losers in products. Let's see how it looks across customers. So we're looking at profitability by customer category, automotive, commercial, etc. Looking down, we're also looking at customer category profitability statement, top 10 customers by operating profit. And as well, if you want a quick view on this, kind of show you graphical nature, percentage operating profit by revenue amount, by customer. Down far left, we have direct versus allocated expenses for our customer. Off to right, the top 10 customers by expenses, what it's costing us to bring that business to the customer. The next dashboard we're going to look at in the last one, we're going to look at our receivables. It's always a key measure of working capital. In this presentation layer, it opens up on a summary page. You can see you have your dashboards for, days outstanding as well as, overdue accounts receivable. It gives you kind of a toll gate here, a percentage outstanding, overdue, average invoice amount. And moving down, we're looking at, kind of our transaction efficiency by invoice. And this is our payment performance by invoice. We want to go across, we can look at the effectiveness of our receivable. And this is, again, remember, coming right out of our table. So, looking from left to right, top 10 customers by invoice. This is their performance as far as collecting. And this is our staff. This is how effective our accounts receivable staff is on collecting outstanding receivables. Carries a rock star here. Looking down, we can go to the number of adjustments made as well as invoice transaction efficiency. The bottom is invoice management efficiency total. Let's look at our customer report. What customers are great at paying and which ones are giving us trouble. Here's our quarterly trend. And this is our basically outstanding credit. This is the customers that are highly leveraged, using most of their credit. Looking down on the bottom left-hand side, we look at our AR aging on a graphical nature. This is our accounts receivable overdue aging report right here. Again, if you want to look at kind of the pivot table for the details, you can see that by period outstanding. One of the things EBS is always good for is bringing in detailed transactions. And you can look at a snapshot of your detailed transaction. So here we look at the real gritty detail by customer, by invoice number, by net terms, and amount outstanding. We can bring this in on any dimension we want. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Janesh, who's going to talk a little bit about ad hoc reporting and financial analytics.
Thanks, Derek. So BI apps is more than just reports and dashboards out of the box. BI apps have like many important metrics and business areas available under the hood for utilization. Oracle could have created thousands of reports, but they will never be enough for any organization. So Oracle provided best practice dashboards, which provides crucial insight into your data For any ad hoc reporting needs, OBIA delivers 100% thin browser-based client, which is very user-friendly and easy to learn. Let's say Oracle Answers, together with pre-built subject areas, delivers unlimited analytical possibilities. OBIA delivers plenty of subject areas, and those are ready to build reports and dashboards to satisfy any company's specific BI needs. Analysis tab on the BI homepage allows user to view all available business subject areas and create reports. These are some sample subject areas available for finance users. Let's see how easily we can create a brand new report in a couple of minutes in OBIA. Let's say I want to create financials AR report, AR balance report. So I'll click on new analysis and I see all the available subject areas to me based on the role assigned to my user. So I'm interested in financials AR balance report. So I'll select this subject area. This is a browser-based client tool which allows me to create a brand new report without any need of developer. On the left side, you see the subject areas where you can see all the available dimensions and facts for my reports. Let's say in this report, I want to create an AR balance report for my credit amount. I want to analyze my credit amount based on different dimensions like time, profit center, GL account, as well as customer. So let me select some of the columns in this report. So I simply click and have available these columns in my report. Let me also get GL account number as well as customer. And the last, I'll select my effect. So let's see how my results are looking. So here you can see that by default OBIA gives the result in a tabular pivot table format. I can further change it to whatever I want. There are edit functionalities available on every tab here. So let's say I want to group my GL account numbers by customer name. So I'll simply pick my customer name and move it to left. So my GL account numbers are aggregated. I can do it further, and my profit center name is also grouped by my customer name. I can further create my customer name as a table prompt as well as the section. There are two space available to do that. I'll put it as a table prompt. So here you can see that I can see only result for the selected customer. I can further create a graphical view of the similar data. So I want to add pie chart in this report. Here you can see that by default it generated a report which does not make any sense to me, so I would like to edit it. Here you can see in this report, let's say I don't want to utilize all of the columns, so I can simply exclude these columns and use whatever I want. I want to keep my fiscal year as a prompt, fiscal quarter as a section, and customer name in the slices. So let's see how my results are looking. So you can see fiscal year, it's in the prompt, and quarter is in the section. So let me go back to 2011, and you can see different quarters are displayed in a section. I can further beautify this report by putting sliders in my report. You see, it's just by one click I can update my report. Once I'm done, I click here done, and this is the way your report will look like in the dashboard. I can save this report for my future use, or even I can share this report with my colleagues. Let's also have a quick look on the customization scenarios over here. So customizations are divided into three categories. Category 1 is adding new columns or new flags fields to existing fact and dimension tables which are already loaded in data warehouse. Category 2 is adding data from a custom source or one that's not supported for a particular subject area. And category 3, I'll say it's adding completely new tables, dimensions, and facts into the warehouse and loading them either from supported or non-supported sources. So you can clearly see here, based on your source and type of customization requirement, it can be achievable easily. So that's it for today, and we'll be open for the questions.
Thank you very much, Dinesh. At this time, if you'd like to ask any questions, if you would please type it into your screen, we'll be happy to do so. Okay, I have one question coming in. You spoke a great deal about Oracle EBS, and my company is on SAP. Will OBIA Financial Analytics integrate with SAP as well?
Thanks, Camille. I can answer that. OBIA will integrate with any ERP system, SAP, JD Edwards. It will directly integrate with your transaction tables no matter what system you're on.
Yeah, also OBI out of the box comes with like various adapters, and specially we have an adapter for SAP. So we can definitely load SAP data inside your OBI applications. And for predictive analysis, so OBIA is built on BI Foundation Suite. So you can have your historical analysis on your BI data warehouse as well as predictive analysis in Aspace, and you can combine everything in your common enterprise model. So definitely SAP, we can achieve this in SAP as a data source too.
Thank you. I have another question. What is the timeline for implementing OBIA Financial Analytics?
Sure. Out of the box, Oracle BI Finance Analytics can be implemented within 6 to 7 weeks, but based on your custom needs, we might have to go for the customization. But just for financial analytics, out of the box, 6 to 7 weeks.
Okay. Another question. We're a mid-sized manufacturing company with multiple locations. We have a complex standard cost calculation. Is it better to use financial analytics or another tool such as Sbase, Hyperion Sbase?
Thanks, Camille. If you're really doing heavy lifting analytics across your enterprise and within your business, a tool such as Sbase would be the better way to go. But Sbase comes as a part of OBIA and BI Foundations. So you can use OBIA, OBIE. You can look at your outlines and integrate those outlines into the OBIA or OBIE presentation layer for reporting analytics. But you get full functionality of a Sbase Cube, including cal scripts, business roles, in all intersections within a data cube.
Thank you. One more question. We are already using Oracle Business Intelligence 7963. How can we migrate to and what are the benefits of the new version?
Yep, sure. The previous version of BI application, which is 7963, is built on your ETL tool, which is Informatica, and the latest version works on ODI. So the ETL mappings are completely new. So there is no tool which can automatically migrate your previous version to the latest one. So right now you need to go for the reimplementation. But when you go for 11.11.11.71 or 11.11.81, you get so many benefits, like you are going to reduce the cost for hardware maintenance, even the hardware cost, because there is no need for middle tier for ETL, as well as you're gonna get really rich features, and they have added so many contents for BI application in the latest version. So there are plenty of advantages for moving towards latest version of BI applications.
Okay. Are there any more questions? Okay then. I'd like to thank you all for attending today's webinar. It will be available and I will email it out to you for your further review. I'd like to also mention that Oracle Business Intelligence is used by a lot of very large corporations that can break it down to the very few color of a product to find out how profitable or how unprofitable or what type of trends are emerging from different products. It's a very robust tool that is very scalable, but not too complicated and expensive to implement. I'd like to thank you all for your time today, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
I think we dropped the screen in between. We dropped the screen in between. Yeah, why? The screens were missing. I was speaking, but I think the screens were missing because of Wi-Fi. That's why we were wired there. Because the internet dropped, so the screens, okay. I think my screens, whatever I was speaking, couple of, I don't know. No, she pinged me here, but I don't know how to, they cannot switch it. Yeah. She pinged me that
She should have spoken. Hey,
oh, immediately on
the
the call.
because sometimes we don't.
Yeah.